Hi everyone, it's Adam7 Fish Tanks, and in today's video we're setting up a new Nano micro predator aquarium. So I've been wanting to set up a new tank for quite some time, but obviously it's finding the space, finding the time and resources to be able to set one up. But you'll definitely enjoy this setup and enjoy the inhabitants as well, as I'm going for something a little unusual that you wouldn't really see in the average aquarium. So let's get into this.
After a brief appearance of minks, we started adding the base layer, being a little bit of aqua soil, some gravel here and there. This was some leftover bits and bobs from my previous setup, so there wasn't a whole lot to put in there really. We then began to add some nutrient capsules to be part of the fertilisation for the plants in the aquarium. Once again, as you can see, there isn't a whole lot of aqua soil or gravel at all really, so I was trying to go for a bit more of a minimalised style of nutrients. As the past few setups I've recently done, I've had a issue with nutrients leaking into the water column. Then began to rinse the sand and make sure that it was nice and clean, as usually when you add sand into an aquarium there is a lot of dust collected on it, so I was making sure to do that beforehand. After overspilling it a couple times and rinsing it to the point where the water was clear, we then moved on to the next part of the setup. We then started to add our sand substrate layer to cap off the nutrients underneath, and also this is the choice that I've went for an aesthetic reason as well. As you can see here, I'm smoothing off the sand, making sure that there is no gaps in the substrate layer, but I'm also making sure that the slope effect is coming in as well. The slope effect is basically where you push the sand further to the back to create depth and height. We then started to place in our hardscape. Now I opted for some corbo root and lava rock, and these are both pieces of a hardscape that I've never used before, so it was quite interesting to use and set up in this style. And this was the result of the setup. I was quite happy with this, so we moved on to our next step in planting. I decided to start off with the Bucephalandra as the epiphyte and a standout centerpiece part of the tank. We then moved on to planting our background plants. We started off with planting this piece of Valsinaria. The next plant we opted for was Cryptocorn Balancea. This isn't like the usual cryptocorns that stay small or medium. This is a background plant and it has kind of the same effect as the Valsinaria. So in this point in time we didn't have the plants nor the fish available, so this is all that we had to set up for the time being, just to start the cycle and make sure that it was okay for fish to go in a couple weeks time. So if you're wondering why I put this plastic bag in, I usually do this as a way to not disturb the substrate layer below, as it disperses the water across the surface area. It was at this moment that I realised that I'd made a huge mistake. And this is a precaution to anyone to glue your wood down or make sure that it's pre-sunk.
So as you can see, the corbo root is floating. I probably should have thought about maybe pre-soaking it beforehand, but I've never used this type of wood before, so I didn't think that it'd be light enough to float, but there is a lot of holes in it and air pockets. So we're going to skip forward now to when it's eventually sunk, and we'll get back to plant the aquarium.
After that drama unfolded, a week or so later we decided to start planting the aquarium once again. We chose some hygrophila, which is more of a bushier stem plant, which would be nice to see in the background. And then we also use different species of cryptocorn, ones to be in the mid-ground and also in the background, to just fill out the tank some more, make it nice and dense and bushy for the inhabitants that are going to be going in. As you can see as well, I decided to move the Bucephalandra in that place rather than where it was originally, as I changed up the structure slightly of the layout once the wood floated previously. We also opted to use some Ludwigia Super Mini Red as well for that little burst of colour in the background. We finished off the planting with a larger species of cryptocorn, which will be a really nice background plant. The first inhabitant that we added into the tank was the Emerald Rasbora, a close relative to the Celestial Pearl Danio, or known as the Galaxy Rasbora. Next up we added our algae eater slash cleanup crew, which is a Zebra Otocinclus catfish. Finally we added our centerpiece fish, and this fish honestly caught my eye in store. This is Betta Aquascape. This is a pair of them as well, so we're hoping to get some breeding action hopefully once they settle into the tank. And here we are with the final result. I'm really happy with how the tanks turned out, especially after the drama that unfolded with the wood floating, so that's a reminder for next time to never make a mistake like that again. But as you can see as well, we've added some botanicals too to, encourage the fish to breed, but also be a source of food for the Otto. And I think my favourite part is the wood that I selected for the aquarium. Corbo root is a type of wood that is usually named catfish root because it has so many holes in that catfish like to live in it or breed in it. So this is going to be a really cool feature to see if the beta fish decide to use it as a breeding ground, or maybe even the Emerald Rasbora. Just a reminder to any of you out there, we also used some cycled media to make sure that the aquarium was established in time for these fish. Of course, I'm doing daily tests on the aquarium itself and making sure that the parameters are in check as well. I'm going to leave you with some B-roll footage now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, click notifications, and I'll see you next time. Take care, see you later, goodbye.